Good evening, welcome to the Goffstown Planning Board. This is our regular scheduled meeting for December 12th. We will begin with our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, David, please start.
David Pierce, an alternate member.
Richard Freeman.
Tim Redmond.
Scott Ozana, Town Engineer.
Philip Devanza.
Carlos Adams, Select Board Representative.
Joanne Duffy, Joanne Duffy, Planning and Economic Development Director.
Dave, you'll be voting on all matters tonight. We are missing 2 members. Okay. We have minutes from November 14th.
Motion to approve.
Motion
Second.
been made to approve. Any discussion on the minutes or changes,
I have one correction.
please?
The second paragraph where it says Dave Pierce was a voting alternate member, well, I was absent that night, so that sentence needs to be
Okay, thank you.
removed.
Anything else? Phil, would you like to amend your motion, please?
That's fine.
I ask you to amend it to include the corrections. That's what we
Yep.
Okay. Fair?
Second.
Second. Okay. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstention? Motion passes. You'll see in our correspondence and action items, our Southern New Hampshire Planning Commission membership dues are due for 25 to 26 in the amount of $12,604.02. Okay, we're gonna,
I'm sorry, before you take any action on anything, we have 2 other pieces of correspondence that came in late.
okay,
One is from the town of Hooksett. It's for a regional impact on Valley View Drive. They would like to do a subdivision that does meet up somehow with the town of Goffstown over by Hackett Hill Road. And they've
what
sent
road?
Hackett Hill.
Hackett, huh?
I think the entrance is on Hackett Hill, and then it goes into an
Can we-
area that
Can we do this
backs
at
up.
the end of the meeting,
Oh,
please?
sure.
Thank you, Joanne.
You're welcome.
All right, we're gonna take things out of order to start. We normally do old business first, but on one of our new business items, it's asking for continuance, so I will move to very briefly move to map 6, lot 54, and 54-1. Joanne, could you please brief us on what's going on?
Yes, the applicant has asked for a continuance for both of those hearings. We do have everything, but we haven't reviewed it yet. And because we knew ahead of time that he was asking for this. And the reason is that he would like to have a meeting with the abutters and explain everything before the planning
Is
board
the applicant
meetings.
here tonight?
Yes, he
Can we
is.
invite him to the table to please explain for the public and us what's going on?
Good evening.
Evening. For the record, your name?
My name is Doug McGuire. I'm the engineer of record from the Dubay Group on the application. And so we had made a request over a week ago, I believe, to Joanne to send to you folks to request a continuance to January 23rd, your next available public hearing meeting date. And the reason being is that in discussions with the owner and applicant, we felt that based on the size of the project, based on concerns that we've heard raised in other forums from the abutters, that it would be helpful to have a more informal meeting that could allow for more free exchange of discussion. And so we did send out a letter on December 3rd to all of the noticed abutters that were noticed for the hearing, stating our intention of having a meeting on January 16th, which is a week before the scheduled 23rd meeting. And we also noted in our letter that, inviting them to come to our office and to discuss the project. We'll have the traffic engineer there as well as the site civil engineer for discussion purposes. And we also let them know our intention was to request a continuance tonight with hopes that we weren't going to inconvenience folks that, were expecting to maybe come and speak tonight, know that our intention was to request a continuance.
Okay, so you're requesting a continuance into a date certain of 1/23 of '25.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any questions from board members?
Mr. Chairman, I was wondering if I can get a list of the people that you have notified.
It was in your packet. It's in your packet from prior meeting.
I
I'm
wasn't
sure,
here at the
Joanne,
last
right?
meeting.
Your list of abutters comes with every packet?
I
It
wasn't here
does,
at the
but
last meeting.
if you
No.
need one, we can send it to
Yeah,
you.
because I can tell you there's a couple members, abutters on Terrell Hill that haven't been notified yet, that are abutting that property.
Direct abutters?
Yes.
Okay.
Some of the drainage plans goes right into that $1 million home I spoke of at the
Okay.
meeting the last time.
If you could work with Joanne on making sure the abutters list is complete, it'd be great.
So we did, our intention was obviously, as you may or may not be aware, the large parcel overall, we're doing a 2-lot subdivision of the 200-plus acres, leaving a 160-acre tract.
I think we're going beyond what we need to at this point, Doug.
Fair enough.
Thank you very much. So, Joanne, will you work with Member Freeman to figure out if anybody was missing from the list?
Sure.
Thank you. Any other questions from board members?
Ready for a motion, Tim?
Motion, please.
I'll make a motion to grant the request to continue this until January 23rd.
Second.
Collis Adams, Bill Devanza. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. So anybody that's here for that other hearing, it will be heard on January 23rd. We'll be back here for that hearing.
And just,
And Mr. Chair, if I could just say publicly, I have copies of the abutter letter sent, so if there's anyone here that didn't receive a letter and would like one, I'm happy to hand one out so you can have our address information and all that.
and you will not be re-notified. So this is the notification that the law allows for, is the continuation, as long as you state the date. So if you know of any neighbors who haven't shown up, please share the date with them.
Thank
Okay,
you.
folks.
So if they weren't here, then they don't know unless we tell them?
Well, or they can go on the website and look at the next agenda.
Okay.
All right, that's it for this, folks. Thank you.
That's the state law.
Not everybody even has a computer.
So if you folks want to talk about this, please take it to the parking lot, because if you're going to be in the hallway, it goes right back through the whole room here.
But that was just on map 9, lot 32 through 16. Is that still counting for lot 54 through 1?
Yes, both of those applications have been asked to be continued to the date certain. They'll both be.
Okay, could you just say that we're talking about this first one? I want to make sure that was also for the second. Thank you.
No, thank you for clarifying that.
Yes, sir.
You gonna stay for the other thing, Evelyn, or are you gonna go?
Well, yeah.
Is David here?
No, he's not.
Okay.
I can stay.
Would you like to speak? Or would you like to wait for David? Because we can have your very brief discussion before we go into the next application.
Fine.
Okay, so stick around for another 3 or 4 minutes. So this would come up under a public comment. I'm hoping that it would fit into that category, but Evelyn Miller is here tonight, and she'd like to make a brief statement to the planning board regarding our prior meeting on the zoning changes.
I think that just our commission, we met yesterday, I can't speak for the commission. Well, the bottom line is we understand that maybe you would like to have a collaborative session with the Conservation Commission to look over the regs that are there now and look at other regs that other towns have and see if we can come up with some improvements, but we don't want to get rid of what we have now. We'd like to look at it and then propose changes if we feel that.
Are you speaking for the Conservation Commission tonight, Evelyn?
Well, no, I'm really not,
Okay.
for myself.
I only asked because I knew you just had a meeting, and I didn't know if you would talk about
No,
it.
no, so I was just gonna, David and I actually had talked afterwards, we were gonna just sit here and see if this came up, and then we were just, not that we can speak for the commission, but that we thought, personally, that we thought that would be a very good idea.
Well, I would say thank you for your offer, and I'm pretty sure you're going to be taken up on your...
That'd be great.
Okay.
I think other people will be happy with that too, but anyway. Okay, thank you very
for coming in,
much.
Evelyn.
Thanks, Evan.
Joanne, let's go back to the old business application that should have gone first. Could map 18, lot 42?
Okay. So, they are back with you again, and they are, they have addressed the comments that were made at the last meeting. And they have provided, additional information regarding shared parking by providing a shared parking agreement document that will be recorded at the registry. And I asked them to submit it without any signatures so that you can look it over and see if you see anything glaring that should be changed. Otherwise, we'll go with this format.
Any questions from board members for staff? Seeing none, I will ask the applicants to begin their presentation.
Good evening. My name is George Chadwick with Bedford Design, here tonight with Jennifer Lever to discuss the project. As the board is aware, we were here last month, and the board sent us away with a few items that they felt needed to be addressed. I believe we've addressed all those items. I would like to comment on a couple of the comments that are in the staff report, in that there is a TBM shown on the plans currently. The snow storage, we did enlarge it on this reiteration of the plans. I believe we did add a detail to the plan showing the transition of the curbing from full height to a zero reveal.
These are old comments.
From you?
Yeah,
In the packet? Are you on page 5?
yeah, these are very old comments because there's still ones about the traffic letter, stormwater. I didn't have any of these comments left. So really, for my comments, the ones that would be left are just under general comments. I had no
Could you-
planned comments or stormwater comments left.
Scott, just for the board members that are here tonight and for Joanne,
Yeah.
I want to begin on page 5 with DPW engineering comments.
Yeah.
Could you tell us which ones may be germane to tonight, and we will exclude all the other ones since they have no relevance on tonight's hearing? So 1 through 8 on page 5, is any of them?
None of those,
None of those
9, 10, or 11 can be scratched.
So there's nothing from you actually on...
Until general, so until 22.
So-
Everything else should, I
Has been
thought I
resolved?
had checked off on previous submissions. So I'm sorry for that confusion.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I just wanted for tonight, I've been here 3 months now, so
Yeah.
I just want to make sure we get it all
Yeah,
addressed.
so the
that-
ones that are left for DPW comments, and actually I think the sewer commission, you've already been in front of
Yeah,
them,
and they
correct?
approved it as
So
well.
I think I had taken that one off. So really, it's kind of like these boxes to check after it's submitted and before you can start construction. So, you know, we need the CAD file, building permit. I believe you have a stamp on the plans already.
Yep.
Accessibility fee, you probably haven't paid that yet.
There was a note
Drainage
on the
maintenance
plan.
agreement, you did submit one of those, I believe.
Yeah, and I believe it was reviewed.
Pre-con meeting, obviously, that's just something that needs to be done before construction. Sewer permit,
What about 27?
driveway permit, oh, yeah, driveways. Yeah, so site inspection, so that'll be something
That happens during progress.
during, yeah. So really, all this stuff that's left is not things you need to do at this moment. It's kind of to get construction started.
Okay.
And there'll be, typically, we have you list these conditions on the plan.
And I believe they all are listed on the
Okay.
plan already.
Yeah.
And I can tell you what note it is if you'd like to get on through them.
Yeah, okay.
Well, we left these folks with 10 questions or 10 actions at the last meeting. I wrote them down, so we can review them one at a time if you like, George, and we
Yeah,
can go through
sure.
them.
If you don't mind just reading them off, and I can address them for you. I don't have them written right here in front of me in this file.
Okay. Board members, any other questions before we begin what was left over from the last discussion? All right. There was a note that the board wanted to see numbered parking spaces and marked the shared parking.
And the spaces are all numbered on the plan. And I believe the shared parking document states which parking spaces will be shared.
But we wanted to see them on the plan so we could know where they were, as I remembered.
I believe the shared parking, there's 5 necessary. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, probably 1, 2, 7, 6, and 5, as I have them numbered on the plan.
Okay.
And they're right there in the front.
We can take your verbal statement on that, but I think maybe when we're all done one of these days and a final plan is submitted, I think we'd like to see you follow through, and I just identify them on a final set of plans
Okay.
that shows which are the shared parking spaces.
Sir,
Because I think it's got to do with proximity
Yep.
to the proposed project.
definitely.
A conditional use permit for the parking agreement, Joanne, is that still something they need to do?
Yes.
Okay, so you'll need to request a conditional use permit for the shared parking.
And we have, and the copies been
They
provided.
have
at the time.
provided the copies, but the board still has to vote on it.
Okay. Is this something new, or have we seen the request for the conditional use permit?
You've received the first one, but the second one for the parking just came in about 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, whenever this middle date was for this meeting.
So that was part of your packet at that time.
Is it in the packet tonight?
I don't know.
I believe it is.
Sure.
It's in mine anyway.
I didn't open the
probably
packet.
is.
It's
Here it is, right here. I
December
got it.
2nd, yeah.
I've got it.
Yeah, here it is.
I didn't review my packet. Okay.
There's 2 different ones. One says revised in September, so assuming you should go by that one.
Well, yeah, so there is 2 conditional use permits that are needed. One for the use, and then one for the shared parking. And I've submitted both.
So the one for the use has 2 different dates. You want to use
The revised one
September, okay.
is the latest one that was submitted to you.
Okay. Let's use 2.
Number 3 I wrote down was the lot line was not shown through the parking spaces on the rear corner of the property by Marion Street.
So we did get a copy of the approved site plan from Joanne of that lot, and we do indicate the approved lot line, or the lot line of that lot, and they do not go through those parking spaces as I initially sketched based on the tax map, but it is on the plan.
Did you survey the lot that you want to work on? Is that actually surveyed, or are you
It is.
using? It's not, you're not using GIS data, are you?
No, it's fully
Because
surveyed.
that's inherently inaccurate.
Yep, fully surveyed.
Yeah, it looks like they found 3 of the corner pins anyway.
Okay. I'm not going to ask for questions from board members, but if anybody has a question on each of these as we go through them, just speak up. There was some business of the lighting, and you were going to use a consultant, and it had to do with, was it at the fence line with the neighbor at lot 37B, 5, is that what it was, Scott, on this fence line over here?
Yep, it was. hours.
Okay.
And we did have our lighting consultant revise his lighting plan, that's in your packets. And there is no spillover of lighting on the abutting lot, nor is there anything greater than .2 on the property line. There's one spot with .2 that's at the edge of parking, the rest is all zeros. So there is no spillover onto the abutting lot at all.
It meets the regs now.
I'm sorry?
It meets the zoning ordinance. Which I think is kind of fuzzy, whether it did or not.
It's a little fuzzy.
Parking calculations that support the request for the conditional use permit, I assume they're in your packet.
Yes.
Did you look at any of them, Scott?
Yeah, it's all the previous traffic stuff.
No, this is the new one here for the shared parking.
The share, I saw the shared parking agreement, yes, I did review that. But the calculation was a previous one.
It was on the plan previously.
Yeah.
It's always been there.
Okay. We talked about screening for the parking space that is on the left side of the Preston Street entrance.
I believe it was Colleen that wanted us to modify the screening in this location or adjacent to the parking stalls. We have done that, we've modified it, added landscaping to it, so I believe it's fully screened.
Okay, has anybody looked at that? Joanne?
Yes, it's fine.
Okay. We asked for hours of operation. Is that on your notes?
It is.
Good. What number so we can follow you?
It's in the purpose note, number 1 on the plan set, and it corresponds with the traffic study that was submitted as well as the hours we've been talking about all along.
Everybody see that? Everybody good? Number 1 in the notes. We had discussed the lights out time and different locations for some reason.
Yep, we actually added to the lighting note on the plan that said that the lights will be shut off at 9 o'clock.
What number are you on there, George? Can you
Yeah, let
direct
me
us
get
to
it
it?
for you. Number 26, it says all light fixtures to be full cutoff type fixtures, all exterior lights to be shut off at 9 PM.
Thank you, George. There was a request for a recordable parking agreement.
We have that.
You have that?
Back
That's
to
what
that lighting note quickly.
Sure.
I thought the board had discussed that, like, having like a light on at the entranceway was
Yes.
acceptable. I mean, the way you wrote that note, all lights,
Yeah,
if somebody
I-
wanted to be a jerk about it,
Well,
they could
we-
come and tell you to turn.
We did
your-
agree that you could, what Scott is saying,
Yeah.
at your entrance to your apartments, that stairwell area
Maybe
could
what I'll
and should
change
be
it to
lighted. for
is,
safety.
except for security light or except for
Yeah, well, it's your,
doorway light.
Like an entryway light
Entryway,
or something? Yeah.
Certainly.
Because I don't want anyone to harass you because you have the lights to your steps on.
so I think you need to amend 26. And you put the language in, George,
Yeah,
that, excluding the lights at the stairwell to the apartment or something. So that
Certainly.
you can have those lights on whenever you want.
Yeah.
certainly will.
Because somebody's gonna live there, so we don't
Yeah.
want them in the dark.
For the shared parking agreement, I just wanted to see if the board had any comments before.
If it's okay with staff, it's okay with me.
Okay.
You guys are the ones who review this stuff. If anybody have any questions on the recordable parking agreement from board members? Okay. And then, based on the request to add no parking signs on Preston Street between the entrance to the project and the corner at Mast Road, if it was a successful outcome with the Traffic Safety Committee, you would agree to add the no parking signs in that stretch of road
That
at a
is
later
correct.
date if an approval was granted by the Traffic Safety Committee.
That is correct.
Is that somewhere in your statement?
No,
Or is
he
that
sort
just a
of, I think
verbal
at the
agreement
last
where-
meeting, said that it'd sort of be a, I don't want to use handshake, but an agreement between us and the board that it would occur, and you really didn't want to put it on the plan, because if it was on the plan and it
It's
was
something-
denied, then
Yeah.
back to you again.
So I think we're gonna leave it as a handshake agreement, good faith agreement, and we'll ask DPW to look in on that,
Sure.
and, or whoever, Joanne will know about the traffic safety
Did you
committee.
discuss that? Was that today or was that yesterday?
That was yesterday, but that wasn't
brought up.
discussed.
Okay.
No, it
So
didn't
we
get
can,
talked.
they meet again in March.
Could you please be on the March agenda?
Yeah.
And then if they do, could you notify the applicants in writing, please?
Sure.
And what would your recommendation, Scott, be? 2 signs along that stretch there? Would that be
I,
adequate?
I think if we put one kind of, when you first enter the street,
Yeah,
that says no parking between signs, and then we put one just after the driveway,
Near the
before this, or
corner.
like at the hydrant there, that says no parking between signs. I think that would probably suffice.
and so let's back
Because I
up.
think that's what we talked about, was that stretch, right?
Yeah.
Because we didn't want to tell people further down the street they can't park in front of their houses.
No. So, Joanne, we'll go back to you on this. If when you speak, whoever speaks in front of the Highway Traffic Safety Committee, that they provide them with a very easy, hand-drawn sketch of where the signs are to be located, and that way they'll be official, so that
Okay.
the applicant would know where the safety committee wants them
Okay.
placed. Who's gonna handle that? You, or are you gonna have to go and do that?
I could talk to Adam about it. Adam's on the committee too.
Well,
Yeah,
somebody
you
needs-
go to every
I-
meeting,
I'm on
so
the
she's
committee.
always there.
Oh, so then
Yeah.
you can speak for the planning board on that matter?
Sure.
Thank you. Well, those were the 10 items that were identified for questions, and they seem to be satisfactorily completed. Does anybody have any questions or concerns?
So we're good with these 2 small plan edits being administratively
Yes.
handled? Okay.
Yes. Plan edits are always.
Yeah, just making sure.
Board members, questions?
Oh, and while you were discussing the application with the applicant, I reviewed the suggested conditions of approval, and all those other comments, all my old comments aren't included in that, so I think there was probably the conditions of approval were updated, but maybe the comments weren't. So,
I think what happened was the wrong comments were taken from the computer
Oh, okay.
versus the
yeah,
more
'cause I
up-to-date
don't think
ones.
I actually sent you comments because
Yeah.
I didn't have
Right.
any new ones this time. I
Right, you
just
told
said
me that,
There were
yeah.
no new comments, yeah. So,
Chair, before you close the hearing, if I could just address the staff suggested conditions of approval, if you allow me.
Tell us what page you're on or where you are, what department.
So we're under staff suggested conditions of approval,
Okay.
if the board so chose.
And the first one is about snow
7.
storage?
First one's regarding snow storage.
Okay.
So as I stated a little bit earlier, we did increase the size of the snow storage, and there is a note on the plan that if that exceeds the capacity of the storage area, that it needs to be taken off-site, similar to, you know,
Is that note on the plan, George?
yeah, it should be note 15. 15?
yeah,
Yeah, 15.
Yes.
Okay,
so just strike that one.
and we're gonna leave it in there.
The second one has to do
No,
with
the condition,
No, we're not gonna strike it, we'll just leave it in there.
and just check it off when they.
Just check it off.
when they-
Right, again, I just don't want to have a miscommunication, but anyways, the second one had to do with ADA accessible ramps for the community room. Community room is at grade. The first floor of the community room is 279.5, and the walkway is 279.5.
Okay,
So there's no need for
So-
ramps
So there was
in that
some
instance.
confusion with the notes that we received from the fire department, because the original notes, that was one of them that we did get from Captain Connor. But now we have new notes from the fire department.
When did the new notes come in, Joanne?
They came in just like a week ago, and we have a new fire captain that's handling.
Well, has the applicant been notified of these new notes from fire?
I haven't seen them.
Oh, I thought I sent
Are
them.
they in your packet?
They're on page 4.
So let's go to the fire notes, see what we think about them.
Mr. Chairman, Alan Yaton, architect. I met with Tim at the fire department,
Tim Lavoie is the new captain.
and I've known Tim for a long time. He and I reviewed the project, and we determined that no sprinklers are required for the building, and end of subject.
Yes, and he did put some other things, but basically, he wasn't as restrictive as the first set of notes that we received. So that is true. He did say that sprinklers are not required. And he just made some other suggestions about fire alarm notification, emergency lighting, things like that. So I have taken away the old notes and put these in its place. However, when it came to the conditions of approval, I included a few of those things because I didn't know if it needed the ramps or anything, so I did put them in there, but we can certainly remove those.
Well, can you give Alan, which we have extra copies of around here we're not using, right? Can we have Alan look at the fire department notes so we can know what he discussed with the fire inspector and what's not?
Alan had a conversation, I have it in writing, it was actually an email conversation, and
Do we have a spare packet laying around here, Joanne, tonight?
well, maybe on the, I don't have any myself, but
Hang on.
I mean, these seem like all building things anyway, that would be
Yeah.
associated with the building
it
permit.
didn't have anything to do with planning, it was things about, I can find it here.
Alan, you want to take my,
Page.
just look at them, see if this is, this is a bad time to be throwing a monkey wrench into the works.
It does, one of them does say he concurs that sprinkler system for this project is not required,
Yeah.
so.
Start right at the bottom there by your thumb and then
What
go to the
page
next
are you
page.
Page 4.
So it
it's on.
started on 4, at the bottom of page 4, and then continues on page 5.
Okay,
But I
that's
think
what
you've
I'm-
already
yeah.
seen this,
Everything seems building
because he
related,
did
so
write
it's
back
not-
to you.
Yeah,
and
I
I-
did
not
send it
site
to him.
Yeah, Alan has a
Right.
copy of
I
this.
have a
Here,
copy
second
of
from
it.
the bottom. The second from the bottom.
This is what he told you
Yes,
in
the
his
sprinkler
email.
one, yeah.
It's all about separations from the existing building or whatever, they're all code issues.
Yeah, they're code stuff, it's not planning board
It's not
stuff.
planning
It's not
board
planning
stuff.
board stuff, so we can eliminate the whole discussion on this, because he has to go to the building department for a permit
Yeah.
anyway.
Right, and
Right.
the fire department will review the plans, and I've already talked to Tim about it, because he wanted a seating plan for tables and chairs, which is the classification we're using for figuring the density of people.
Right.
And so I owe him a plan, and that was part of the permit process. He and I had agreed that I would submit that as part of the application for a building permit.
Thank you, Alan.
So
There's like occupant load
Tim
factor
Lavoie will
stuff.
be reviewing the plans going forward.
All right, so we don't have to talk about fire department's comments at this time. They'll be entered into the record, but they are building code issues that don't apply to the planning board.
So back to comment 3 about ADA, are we saying since there's not a ramp that the rail's not required, so?
Correct. Everything's all agreed.
I wasn't sure, that's why I left
Yeah.
it there.
Item number 4, sewer commission approval. Again, they approved it on April 9th. 5 Nas-built, okay. Building permit required, okay. Final signatures on plan, fine. Sewer accessibility, fine. Site inspection by town or town's representative. I did add note 24 to the plan set that refers to that.
So that'll
As
be
we
town
discussed.
representative, what we'll do is once we have the final plans, which I think they're probably final enough that I could send them to one of our consultants, I'll have them give me a quick estimate. It's pretty much just erosion control inspection and then a couple more inspections for drainage installation. They'll want to see the
Infiltrate.
subsurface system in place, and then a final walkthrough. This one's probably small enough that it'll likely just be 3 or 4 visits, so.
Okay.
And then that gets paid through an escrow that's provided from the applicant, so.
Sure, that's fine. Item number 10, drainage maintenance easement. Again, it was
Agreement.
agreement rather. It was submitted on 9/11. I think we mentioned that the town already has it, and it's been reviewed. Pre-construction meeting, there's a note number 25 that says we need to do one. Sewer permit required, fine, driveway permit, demolition permit, street excavation permit, provide a PDF. Shared number of parking spaces shall be numbered and marked both on the plan and on the ground.
You gotta paint them on the pavement.
Yeah, that's fine. Again, they are shown on the plan now. Draw a line on the plan halfway through the daycare center property. Again, that's the property line I believe she was talking about. Provide additional landscaping. Again, it's done. Add a note regarding hours of operation. I believe it's done. Provide CUP off-site parking. That's been submitted, and the board still needs to approve it. Provide a recordable parking agreement. Again, that's done. And then add additional fencing on Preston. I believe we talked about either landscaping or fencing, and Colleen preferred landscaping over fencing, and that, again, is done, and we spoke about it a minute ago.
So we'd like you to represent for the record that, in your professional opinion, the landscaping that you're providing, that you're showing on the plan, would be adequate to provide the screening that's required, that would be provided by a 6-foot fence, which is the alternative to the screening.
That is correct.
And you're
Yes,
stating that for the record.
I am stating that, providing arborvitae and, what's the one that turns yellow? Flowers are yellow.
Cynthia?
Forsythia.
Yeah, Forsythia, thank you. As well as trees and so on and so forth, so.
Okay.
And then for note 26, you were going to add an amendment about the lighting near the steps
The
would be
time for
fine.
the lighting.
Yeah,
You'll have
I
to
definitely
amend
will
note
add
26 on your plan.
We will.
Any questions for the applicants at this time from board members? Okay, I'll ask you folks to hold on to your seats. I'm going to open the public hearing, and if anybody wants to speak, I'll ask you guys to vacate the chairs and give them up to somebody who wants to speak. Is anybody here to speak on this application? Anybody here to speak on this application? Okay, seeing none, we'll close public hearing. Okay, Joanne, let's talk about conditional use permits.
So we have two. One is for the use and the other is for the off-site parking. There's 2 letters from Bedford Design Consultants in your packet. They look like this. You have 3. There might be the older one for the use. You may have 2 for the use. And one would be amended in September. That would be the latest one. It says revised September 11. Do you have them, David?
So I do not have my original conditional use permit application for the first one. Thank you, Scott.
The
I have-
first one, I think, is the
A
bottom.
few
Are they in
here.
the same, are they together in there?
I just had 2 different.
One has a
You
stamp.
have it,
I do
that's
have
the-
it. Thank you for providing it, George. So let's talk about the first one that, for the use, Joanne. Could you review that one, please, with us?
Yes.
Because that's before anything else.
So the question is, the use is specifically authorized in the ordinance as a conditional use. And the answer is the B9 community center use is allowed by conditional use permit and off-site parking is allowed by conditional use permit. The second one is, if completed as proposed by the applicant, the development in its proposed location will comply with all requirements of this section and with the specific conditions or standards established in this ordinance for this particular use.
Usually we allow the applicant to answer the questions for the record, Joanne, we don't
Okay.
answer them for you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So
So,
George, we're gonna go to the first one, the use
Sure.
is specifically, I'll read the requirement, and you give us the answer, please.
Will do.
The use is specifically authorized in the ordinance as a conditional use.
The benign community center use is allowed by a conditional use.
Okay, everybody, any issues with that, anybody? The next one is completed as proposed by the applicant. The development in its proposed location will comply with all the requirements of the section and the specific conditions or standards established in this ordinance for the particular use.
The use will comply with all requirements of this section and standards established in the ordinance. And I believe over the last few meetings, we've addressed that.
The use will be compatible with the neighborhood and adjoining or abutting uses in the area to which it's located.
It simply wrote, the community center will be compatible with the abutting uses. I believe in the area other than Preston Street, there's a lot of similar type uses.
So Joanne, when we're asking for answers to the questions, is it okay to answer the question with the information that we're asking for?
well, the board needs to approve this, so if you feel that there hasn't been enough information provided, I would ask him to elaborate on that answer.
So George, as you just did on the last one, you can do a little elaborating rather than just read the sentence back to us?
Sure.
Okay. So, it's fine, I'm not worried about the second one. The third one, you elaborated on, there are other uses in the area, and by that you mean the daycare, is that
The
what you're saying?
daycare, other uses right in the area that are similar.
Like the plaza there?
Like the plaza is in the area, the church. There's
Isn't there a
all,
Montessori
Nail
school right
place.
across the
Yeah.
street?
Yeah.
there's all similar type uses. Yes, we do have Preston Street next door with
Well, these are the kind of,
residential uses.
this is the kind of additional information I think we'd like to see as part of your response.
Sure.
Thank you. The use will not have a substantial adverse impact on vehicular or pedestrian safety.
Based on the traffic memo, the use will not have significant impact on the surrounding road network. Mass Road has the available capacity and level of service for the additional, it says ADU, but two-family and community center. There is adequate access to the anticipated traffic to the community center will generate from public streets, which ensures public safety, avoids traffic congestion, thus minimizes adverse traffic impacts to the main corridor and surrounding road network.
There's no mention of pedestrian safety in that answer, George.
On the, as far as the project goes, we've got crosswalks to the shared parking area, and all the parking spaces are adjacent to the entrances to the use.
Board members? Next one, the use will not have a substantial adverse impact on the appearance and visual quality of the surrounding neighborhood. In evaluating visual impact, the planning board may consider architectural and design elements.
It's our opinion, based on the site and architectural design, there is no visual impact to the surrounding neighborhood. The project will not affect the scenic or unique view shed of the abutting properties. I believe we went over the architectural plans.
You provided architectural drawings with your application.
In the first meeting, and I believe they were all accepted.
The use will be adequately serviced by necessary public utilities and the community facilities and services of sufficient capacity to ensure the proper operation of the proposed use.
The existing public utilities have adequate capacity for proposed use. The property has all the necessary utilities available in Mass Road. The Sewer Commission has approved the sewer connection. Lastly, there are no public or private public or private water supply wells, water supply land, and aquifers, groundwater recharge areas, and public water supply reservoirs in the area that will be affected.
Now, that's a full answer.
It's right out of your regs.
Well, at least you read them. Any other questions
everybody does.
regarding this request for a conditional use permit for the use? Well, seeing there's no discussion, I would ask for something to move this meeting forward.
So you have one other conditional use permit?
Well, I thought we'd vote on them one at a time, Joanne.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Anybody want to make a motion to approve the conditional use permit based on the statements from the applicant?
I'll make a motion to approve the conditional use permit based upon the responses and presentation by the applicant.
Second.
Motion's been made to grant the conditional use permit for community use by Collis and seconded by Phil. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion passes. Second conditional use permit is for the shared parking. So go through them again, George. Is there any information needs to be provided, Joanne, first, or do we just go on to the criteria?
Just go on to the criteria.
Okay. This use is specifically authorized in the ordinance as a conditional use.
Shared parking is allowed by conditional use permit per section 7.5.
If completed as proposed, the applicant development and location will comply with all requirements of the section and the specific conditions or standards established in the ordinance for the particular use.
The shared parking spaces are in the same zoning district and within 500 feet of the proposed community center. The shared parking is connected via crosswalks to the community center.
The use will be compatible with the neighborhood and adjoining or abutting uses in the area to which it's be located.
The community center use will be compatible with the abutting uses, and the shared parking will not affect the neighborhood.
The use will not have a substantial adverse impact on vehicular or pedestrian safety.
Based on the traffic memo, the use will not have significant impact on the surrounding road network. Mass Road has the available capacity and level of service for the additional two-family and community center. There is adequate access for the anticipated traffic. The community center will generate from public streets, which ensures public safety and avoids traffic congestion. The one-way traffic circulation from Preston Street to Mass Road helps limit the traffic on Preston Street, a residential street, thus minimizes the traffic impact on the main corridors and surrounding local roads.
The use will not have a substantial adverse impact on the appearance and visual quality of the surrounding neighborhood. In evaluating visual impact, the planning board may consider architectural and design elements.
Again, it's our opinion based on the site and architectural design. There's no visual impact to the surrounding neighborhood. The project will not affect the scenic view or view sheds of the abutting properties.
And the use will be adequately serviced by necessary public utilities and community facilities, sufficient capacity to ensure the proper operation of the proposed use.
The existing public utility has adequate capacity to propose use. The property has all the necessary utilities available in Mass Road. The Sewer Commission has approved the sewer connection. And lastly, there are no public or private water supply wells, water supply lands and aquifers, groundwater recharge areas, and public water supply reservoirs in the area that will be affected.
Any questions regarding the conditional use permit for the shared parking arrangement? Joanne, the agreement that we have in front of us, is just the copy that is going to be submitted for the record?
Yes.
And if who reviews this or who knows that it's properly considering all the elements of it?
The shared parking you're talking
Yeah.
about. We can have the town attorney review it, but what we did was basically copy from another one. We gave Jennifer the language and then
So this is from a prior executed shared parking agreement?
from somebody else.
From
and we'll
another
just
applicant.
change the language a little bit.
We don't have to have a,
But,
Phil, please.
on that, I read someplace on it that the signatures are supposed to be notarized. Could you just make a notation on that so
Right.
that it's known that there is that's required?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, folks.
It's like a standoff.
Yeah, I know, huh?
I'm just waiting for someone to make a motion so we can move
I'll
on.
make a motion to approve the conditional use permit for shared parking based upon responses presented by the applicant tonight.
Thank you. Who wants to second it?
I'll second.
Any discussion on the motion to grant the conditional use permit for shared parking? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. Joanne, what else is left here on this application?
I think that's it.
Okay. I would like to ask a question for George and the applicant. The last meeting, I asked if you were going to self-impose any restrictions on the use of this proposed community center. And it was met with an explanation of possible other uses. I noticed in your notes, the purpose of the plan, it specifically states that this is going to be for a school as presented by the applicant. Is that your intention for that to be?
It is, and we did read the purpose note 1 again, and that is what we're representing.
I appreciate that because I was concerned that if you provided adequate answers for bus transportation for students to mitigate your parking and other issues, and I was concerned that any other use of the property would result in a lot of cars on Preston Street and Mass Road, and I was worried about that.
That's true.
But your note specifically lays out the intent and the use for the facility.
That is correct.
Thank you. So any other business to handle, Joanne, before we move for an approval or a denial?
No, you're good.
Is the chair allowed to make a motion, or is that against rules?
So Chairman can make a
Yeah,
motion.
they kind of,
The voting
We're
member.
all gonna retire here if somebody doesn't do something. I'd like to make a motion to approve the application with the conditions noted on the plan, 1 through 28, and with number 26 to be amended and approved by staff to allow for lighting in the apartment stairwells beyond the 9 p.m. cutoff time.
We need some findings of facts too, right?
yeah, and also some of the conditions that were on the list on page 8 need to be included. Such as 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, 13, 14, 15.
I'm going to amend my motion to include any conditions on the staff suggested conditions of approval that do not appear on the notes, as the applicant has reviewed the staff conditions for approval and discussed them with the planning board. Even if they're not shown on the plan, they are conditions of approval. Will you amend? So that's a motion. Anybody, I haven't had a second on the motion.
Well, I'll second it if you, does that include this?
That's in the conditions on the paper. The maintenance, the parking agreement?
Right. I didn't see it, that's what I was looking for. I didn't see it mentioned. unless I missed it or I'm looking at the wrong.
Joanne, do you know
list.
if you included the,
It's number 22.
recordable
Oh,
parking
okay,
grant?
yeah, I'm sorry.
So it is in there, Phil?
Yep, it is. On at the, where it says this should be signed by Jennifer and her husband and notarized. Okay, so that is there, notarized. Good.
So it's in the conditions even though it doesn't appear on the document form?
Right, but usually the documents, when you require it, it has a space and with a heading. It says for notary.
Did you second the motion, Phil?
Yes, I did.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
No.
We have one no. And abstentions. You have no abstentions. So this application is passed.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for your
Appreciate the
patience.
board's approval.
Thanks, George.
Thank you for all your
Good luck with your project.
details. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I just have a few things.
Once again, folks, if you're going to talk, folks in the meeting, if you're going to stick around, great, but if you're going to talk in the hallway, please take it up into the vestibule so we don't have to.
So the Conservation Commission met last night, and you had asked them to comment on the Bedford zoning board hearing that was found to have regional impact, and that was the St. A's project. Well, they
Is that what
did.
this document is in front of us?
Right.
There's a letter or a memo here from Patty, and it says that they have no comment. So that's their comment. So do you want
That
a
regards to the Bradford Planning Board's,
zoning board?
zoning board's application for the field house at St. A's. Is that what we're talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
So do you want me to send an email to the planning director in Bedford stating that the town has no comment on the ZBA variance?
Yeah, I think you should.
I don't think the planning board has any comment on it at this time.
Okay. I'll just let her know. So she's
We had
not-
our own regional impact discussion, which was outside of the
Which-
zoning, which is a planning board regional impact discussion.
Correct, and that hearing, that particular hearing that you were
It got
going-
backed out because of this.
Because of that. So we're still waiting on that.
They're going to reschedule planning hearings, and we will have an opportunity to comment on regional impact at a later date.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, board members, does anybody wish to send comments to the Bedford ZBA, or should we agree that we have no comment at this time?
Agreed.
No comment? No comment, Joanne?
Okay. The next letter that we received was from the town of Hooksett. They are doing, or somebody wants to do, an extension of Valley View Drive, which comes off of Hackett Hill. And it's a two-phase project, and they want to do a subdivision. It looks like it's 19 lots altogether. And they've notified the towns of Dunbarton, Manchester, and Goffstown because they found that it has regional impact. So they want to know if anyone has any comments.
Do they not have wetland setbacks like we do?
They have wetland setbacks even for commercial and industrial, but I don't know why they're not shown on here.
But like some of these lots don't seem buildable if there's
No,
wetland
they
setbacks.
don't.
Maybe it's a yield plan. So, Joanne, I would ask that if this road does not connect to our road system,
So the only thing I'm thinking is if you look on the cover sheet, Goffstown Road is north of this project.
It's right by the border. It actually comes behind it. It almost butts up.
So,
it's in Phil's backyard, basically.
yeah, part of Goffstown Road is in Goffstown.
Yeah, a short piece of it.
So I'm thinking that it probably butts up on the left-hand side on the west.
Technically-
It
technically
doesn't.
it's-
If you look at the insert on sheet 2, the top right-hand corner, there's a decent amount of land between the site.
I think there's another subdivision on the other side of it.
There is. They
That-
just
that
added a few
comes out right at the
houses,
town line.
And there's a,
But I would think that all traffic from this project would exit Hackett Hill Road down to Route 3 or Hackett Hill Road.
No,
No.
No.
It's the other way.
East Dunbarton Road has so much traffic on it, I can't even
But
get
does
out of my
Hackett Hill
driveway.
Road connect to East Dunbarton Road?
You're right.
Yeah, through Goffstown / Hooksett. It's Hooksett Road in Goffstown. I don't.
That's
They have
right.
it labeled wrong on there.
But Phil, what are you suggesting? They would come out of this project, go to Hackett Hill, and then come up Goffstown
It
Road?
depends on where you're going. If you want to go to Concord, you come around and go up, and you just take East Dunbarton Road right up, and you wind up at the Capitol. That's the old Stagecoach Road.
Except that where it,
So you know when you're on Goffstown Road,
I know where it is. I'm just trying to talk to Phil about how the traffic from this project would exit and affect Goffstown roads.
unless they came through Goffstown Road and came
Well, that's not,
onto East Dunbarton.
That's a long way around.
the road that where it says Goffstown Road by East Dunbarton Road, that's incorrect. That's Hooksett Road.
Yeah, it's
That is Hooksett Road.
When it gets to the
Town
border,
line.
it becomes,
Yeah.
it switches.
Right at the log cabin.
But what I'm saying is if someone were coming, say, towards Goffstown or, Dunbarton or something, they may come,
They may go down Hackett Hill Road
Hackett
and make
Hill.
that hard, left turn onto Dunbarton Road, Goffstown Road,
Right.
yeah, that may happen. But I don't think the majority of any of this traffic is gonna come to.
I think it's probably all gonna go down Hackett Hill to the highway.
Yeah, it goes down to Route 3 or, and the other Hackett Hill goes back down to Route 3 also, comes out down by those condos.
Yeah.
I asked Patty to put the minutes from that meeting that Hooks had held in your packets.
I think she did.
I read through them and it was so crazy, it didn't even make any sense. Where they were trying to say that, I guess there was a lawsuit with this property at one time and then they were trying to, one of the board members tried to say that it couldn't be built because they don't allow roads this long. However, this is a loop road and then comes back out, so I don't think it's considered a dead end road.
Yeah, so I don't know Hooksett regs at all, but since this road loops, our regs would allow this.
Yeah, I think theirs
It's not
does
classified as
too.
a dead-end road.
Correct,
Right.
yeah, it loops, so.
Well, if any board members here feel that it's an impact, I'd be happy to hear from them, but it doesn't seem that it would affect our roads unless, of course, you live at the corner, you would be affected.
I don't think this is an open space subdivision, Scott.
It
It
doesn't
doesn't
really
look like
matter,
it.
it's houses and building
But if you
lots.
look further in on these plan sheets, they do show the setback for the wetland.
Oh, see, we only got 2 sheets, so.
Oh,
It doesn't
sorry.
really matter.
No.
So do you want to say you have no comments, or?
Well, I asked the board members to decide.
Do they have a traffic study associated with it?
He didn't say that they did. I mean, they would need to.
It doesn't,
So wait a minute.
the words don't, that road connects on.
Yeah, the core route comes out to Hackett Hill.
No, right here.
I've never
Yeah,
driven
but
that.
now they're changing it to that view.
The little,
Core View
the little
Drive.
stub.
It's
a
dead end.
dead-end road.
Yeah. You don't typically drive down dead end roads.
Unless you wanna get rid of the
200
line.
yards.
Oh, so it's more back here. So it's really not off of Hackett, oh, so they want to go.
All right,
off
folks,
Hackett.
let's move on here. Does anybody think this is a regional impact?
The only one that would impact is Phil.
That's why I'm giving Phil a chance to speak up.
It depends, Tim. It
I'm not arguing with you, Phil.
I think it has a regional impact.
Okay, well then, fine.
Because you have to say more than that.
What is your reasoning for the statement? That's what Joanne's trying to get at you right now.
It depends on where do you want to go. If you come out, you want to go to Concord, you'd want to go East Dunbarton Road.
No, people are not gonna go East Dunbarton Road, go all the way through Bow to go to Concord when they go right down to
People
Route
do.
3. Get
So
on the
no
highway.
toll.
People want to
No
get on
toll,
Route
they
3 as quick
bypass
as
the
they can.
toll.
Yeah.
You know how many tractor trailers come down
Phil,
here?
That's
I'm not
3A,
trying-
not Route
Phil, I'm
3.
not trying to get argumentative with you.
No,
I'm
I'm
just
just-
saying,
but-
the people are gonna go down Hackett Hill, they're either gonna get on 93 at the toll plaza, or they're gonna go to Route 3 and go up through Bow to go to Concord.
Let me just make one statement. When the telephone poles get knocked down on East Dunbarton Road, and the Goffstown PD has to go up there and direct traffic on it. Officers tell me they cannot believe the amount of traffic that's up there.
Yeah, because people are going home to go to Bow that way, from Manchester.
If you think about it, it starts at Terrell Hill and Back Road. You got logging trucks going up Grady Hill Road. I couldn't believe that the other day.
And
Coming
dump
down.
trucks and the 18-wheeler dumps.
And
Right.
they're driving in the middle of that road, so you can come over
All
that
right,
crest.
we're criticizing traffic on Goffstown Road. Let's talk about the regional impact, Phil. If you feel there's a regional impact, Joanne will send a letter to that effect regarding traffic coming through Goffstown.
Well, if nobody else does,
No,
don't
I
send it
agree
just
with you.
because of me.
No, I
But
agree
Bear
with you.
agrees with you, so that's 2 votes
I
already.
mean,
So
I see it on a daily basis on my street.
Yeah, so I live on Terrell Hill. If I put a Concord address in a GPS, it'll actually give me directions to actually take East Dunbarton, which I don't typically do that. I typically take the highway, but
And when you get there 35 minutes later than going every other way, you never
And how do
use
you
those
get to the
GPS
highway?
directions again.
Do you go down into Manchester by the Amoskeag Bridge? Or what do you do?
Come on, let's go home here, folks. Let's not talk about how Scott goes to get groceries.
I don't drive that far.
Please.
I'm just wondering.
The vote is to,
Yeah.
the decision is to send Hooksett a letter that we consider a regional impact regarding traffic leaving the project.
Okay, and then you can ask for a traffic study if you want to see
They're
it.
gonna ask for traffic study
Well, I mean,
anyway.
to see a copy of it.
Yeah, sure, that's a great idea. Ask to see a copy of the traffic study.
Do we want our consultant to look at it, or you trust
No.
me to just look at it?
No.
I think I
You
can
Pay somebody.
give it
Give it a whirl.
a.
I think you've seen one up close before.
Honestly, I think if you're gonna trust the engineer to write a traffic study and take your conclusions, doesn't matter which town it comes from, they're not gonna lie to Hooksett and tell us the truth or vice versa. They're gonna give you their professional opinion in any event.
Honestly, traffic's voodoo anyway. They'll tell you that traffic's going one way.
All right, anything else, John?
I think that was it.
Motion
was
to
it.
adjourn?
I want to
Second.
find out if these folks are here to volunteer for the planning board tonight.
I have to come here and learn first,
Oh, good.
you know, and listen.
So
I
you-
will
So
say,
you took my request at the prior meeting, and you
do
listened.
you remember that? Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember.
Well, I don't know, there's a lot going on.
We have an open alternate seat that's unfilled, and if you have any, if you think you might be interested in this,
Well,
and want to give up your time,
I was looking at the budget meeting, but I can't go to both. What's up with that?
oh, you're a budget committee?
No, but I'm just
You
saying,
don't wanna
it's
be a
at
budget
6
committee.
o'clock.
It's a lot more
And
fun.
this is at 7.
And Phil
But-
looks all alone over there.
So how is it possible that anybody can go to
Well,
both?
Brian is a
meetings?
budget committee member who can't be here during budget season, but he's
Right.
here the
But
rest of the
they-
time.
but
So that's
it's
tough.
just during budget season, which isn't that long.
Right, but they're imposing like a 12.5% increase, and it, but.
Whoa, 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 we're not talking about that
No,
here
no,
tonight.
no, I'm just saying.
No, 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 off
I'm just
limits.
saying, I wanted to go to the budget meeting, but then this meeting is in my area,
Okay.
so it's very hard to commit to both,
You
that's all.
can
I'm saying.
probably still
It's
go
probably
there
still
and
make the
they'll
meeting
still be
possible.
there.
All right, well, thank you. I hope you're interested enough to come and fill out an application when you decide if you want to do it or not. All right, anything else for the board tonight?
Motion to adjourn.
Phil made a
Second.
motion to adjourn. Anybody second it?
I did.
Bear seconded it. Richard seconded it.
The bid sounded good.
Phil, can I have that big plan?
Motion to adjourn by Phil, seconded by Richard. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, abstention, motion passes. Thank you all for being here.
Thanks for going
Thank
tonight.
you all, GTV, we are adjourned.